Afternoon.
Sorry?
I said good afternoon.
Oh, right.
This is a remote hearing, so we're on YouTube. The 20th District Court of Travis County is now in session. The Honorable Jessica Mangrum presiding.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 200th District Court. It is December 19th, 2023. We are here on an emergency hearing in cause number D1 FM 23-009179. And I believe there was a request for a record. Is that correct, Mr. Gilbreth?
If there's going to be, I mean, it's not necessary, but if mom's going to be discussing anything with the court, then I think so.
Okay, that's fine. And why don't, before we proceed, let me go ahead and ask both parties to unmute, and I'm going to go ahead and, well, Mr. Gilbert, do you think you'll be calling your client?
No, unless the court needs to hear from him.
Okay, well, I'll let you proceed. You're representing the applicant for the TRO, so you may go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. And it's set forth in our affidavit, which, it being a temporary restraining order is how the court will proceed based on affidavit. But the affidavit outlines, clear danger to the child, bruises on the child, evidence that we believe will be obviously fleshed out at a temporary orders hearing, but evidence that the bruises are caused by mom hitting the child, drug usage, and most importantly, Child Protective Services placing the child with my client and mom signing a safety plan with Child Protective Services. Since now safety plan, the reason why we're here, safety plans are only voluntary, right? There's nothing requiring mom to follow the safety plan. There's not a court order in place. And I think the evidence would be at a hearing that mom recently told dad she's going to come pick up the child in spite of the safety plan in place. So that's we want to set a hearing, obviously, so mom can present evidence if she's going to deny that she caused the bruises, despite the evidence that we think that we're going to have. Obviously, there can be a full hearing on that. But for now, I think all the evidence that the court has in front of it per the affidavit is that the child would be in danger in mom's care. Child Protective Services has placed the child with my client, and we need a court order to ensure that the child's not removed from my client until there's a hearing.
Okay, and Mr. Gilbreth, I know, I think you filed an amended petition and the court has not had an opportunity to compare or to review the amended petition and compare it with the original one. So will you identify for me what the changes are, if any?
Yeah, so we were able to gather pictures before it's just the affidavit. I'm not going to, unless the court wants me to, I'm not going to share screen, but they are pictures of, for example, the child's buttocks with bruising on it, the child's face with bruising on it, pictures of drugs that were referenced in the affidavit, and text messages between mom and the au pair, in which mom, for example, says, "Grab my drugs."
Okay, understood. All right, and Ms. Lamert, we'll go ahead and give you an opportunity to respond to the request and to what Mr. Gilbreth has set out. But let me start by asking you to raise your right hand.
Oh, sorry. I accidentally clicked something and I don't know how to get back into it. I don't know how to get out of here. Sorry. Can you see me?
Yes, we can still see you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I need you to raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and respond to the allegations and that have been set out.
When all of this started, no one would tell me what the allegations were. No one would shed light on why my son was being taken away. I didn't see the photos till after the fact, and so I didn't know that what they were pertaining to. No one would tell me what was going on. And after my son got taken from me, I tried to seek lawyer help, and figure out how to find CPS defense to reverse this. And then he said that and then he enlightened me and said that like I said, I didn't understand anything, so I was trying to get the education. They said that he was saying that if you didn't get court mandated, you voluntarily give your kid away. And I said, no, I didn't. I thought I had to. And they said they were going to take my kid that night. And in that whole time frame, which I don't know if all of these people were working together without my knowledge, Chris's girlfriend was coming to help stay with me because I had kicked my nanny out after I had found out that she was one who had called CPS. But I didn't know that she had also called the cops. I did not have that knowledge. And the CPS would refuse to divulge anything. And I couldn't understand why, that they were going to clear me on Tuesday, but then they convicted me on Friday, or took my son on Friday. And but still would not tell me anything. And then the detective calls me to say, come on in and explain your side. And I was like, okay, I want to be cooperative and understand what's going on. And he also misled me and did not divulge that there were 2 investigations happening. And I thought he was trying to get my statement because the CPS wouldn't take it. I thought he was trying to get my statement so that I could continue on with the CPS case so I could get my son back. And the lawyer said that because, I go, so I didn't have to get my son back. I mean, I didn't have to get my son away. Like, CPS, like, everyone kept telling me that CPS was just lying to me and saying, they were just saying all this stuff to, like, make you think that. And then the investigator kept saying, I don't know anything about the CPS. We have no connection, blah, blah. So it's like, again, I'm still in the dark about everything. And then I go on a Sunday to see the photos, thinking I'm, like, clearing my name with him, not knowing that I was under investigation. And he was like, I have to read these rights, just out of semantics. And I was like, okay. And then asking me these weird questions, like trying to get me to admit something that I didn't do. And then later on, I called Chris. I was like, did you, like, we thought we had to give you Luca. I didn't have to give you Luca. I'm gonna get the green light though. I called Detective Sanchez to clarify what was happening, and I couldn't get a hold of him. And then I called the lawyer to retain him after I got the consolation, the 200. I go, okay, I would like to retain you. Then I couldn't get a hold of the lawyer. Then I finally got a hold of the detective, and he was like, just because you don't know anything doesn't mean, like, I did anything wrong. And I'm like, you manipulated the situation here, and I was in the dark the whole time. And then this morning, I find the email about temporary restraining order. I wasn't going to come get him without a green light from someone to say that I could go get my son back. And now I understand that there's 2 investigations happening that I have to get cleared of and file all this stuff, and that's what I'm working towards. But I did not have any of that knowledge when I told Chris I was going to come get him. I'm just now finding everything out today. But in my text, I said I'm waiting for the green light for someone to tell me that I can go get my kid. And I did not get a confirmation that I could do that legally.
Okay, Ms. Lammer, what I am looking for is your response to the allegations that the applicant has set forth in the affidavit.
Right now, it's my word against my nannies, and it's my word against what the detective coerced me into saying, and with that, like, and manipulating my sentences. So it's like I'm trying to now find how to fight all that to clear my name with that. So it's like I did not do it, and I'm getting accused of it, and now I'm finding stuff out little by little. I did not know any of this stuff was happening due to a vindictive an au pair that lived with me, who could also be on the chopping block for the time frame of all these evidence that is coming into light. But I'm the only one being looked at. the timestamps of everything and like the pictures. Yes, I'm getting caught and got myself in a situation, but it's like having someone pile all this evidence against me all in one sitting behind my back since November 21st to make everything line up perfectly to paint me in this light. I'm not a child. I don't abuse my child. And for marks that I can't explain, and not knowing where he could have fallen and gotten a bruise, specifically on his butt. The timestamp of that photo makes me look really bad. It's just everything is just like looking really bad, and I don't know how to go about clearing my name of all this. And that's what I've been working on, because I didn't even know that I was going under investigation from 2 different parties. I didn't even know that till today.
Okay.
And I'm meeting with a lawyer and retaining one to start my process on how to get Luca back.
Okay, and are you prepared to tell the court what happened?
Yeah. I think that when I spoke to the detective today, asking why I was not made clear of any of this stuff, and why I thought I was being forthcoming and telling him everything that had happened. Me admitting that I had spanked my son on the day in question. I'm like, spanking your kid one time is not a crime, and it's not hard enough to leave that mark. And then also saying that didn't bathe my kid that night, so I didn't see it. And then my nanny, who's also 24-hour caregiver, not telling me about it and just pointing fingers at me on the timestamp that I had already gone to work. My son's never alone. It's either me or my nanny. So, but she's not on the chopping block for this. And so that's what I'm working on. And he is taking every little word and taking it out of context and not finishing the sentence, like, and just making sure that everything is just being painted so bad. And
Okay, Ms. Lammert, you're talking very quickly today, and I'm just wondering, did you take any medications today? Prescription or otherwise?
no.
Okay. All right, I don't have any other questions for you. Mr. Galbraith, do you have any questions for the witness?
I guess, ma'am, just to be clear, you have spanked your child in the last month, correct?
Yes, I spanked my kid.
And you've also struck him in the face.
No, that is not true.
Have you seen the picture of bruising of your child on your child's face?
Yes, I have seen it.
Do you have any explanation? What is your explanation of how that? And to be clear, you've seen the.
Yes, I know.
Hold on,
being
if
under
I can
duress
finish.
and asking these
If I-
questions. I'm going to try and tell you exactly what happened. Where the way
And
you
just-
want to take it and construe it is a different story. I'm going to tell you what happened. I took care of my son on Friday night, and I took care of my son on Sunday and Saturday morning. And when I have him in my care, we play around the whole house because we didn't leave the house. The whole house was a tornado. And Luca likes to pile me on covers, and I was trying to explain to Chris everything, to explain every bruise, and every spot on his body. He likes to pile covers and pillows on me, and he wasn't listening to me that I couldn't breathe, and so then me, just like going like that, to like pushing him away. That's the only thing I could think to speculate of why my son would say I hit him in the face. Like that was the information that was given to me, that what my son said. And I said, to explain that happened over the weekend, and he got upset with me because he was like, oh, why are you pushing me away? And it happened to be on his face when I was like pushing him to get him off me because I couldn't breathe. And that was the only thing I could think of to explain that. I did not go and strike my kid in the face. That's not what happened.
And
I'm telling
just to
you,
be clear,
we horse played around, and every nick is getting under a microscope. And I asked him in front of my nanny where he had gotten those scratches from. The dots I chucked up to, like I said, I didn't examine my kid from head to toe. I was working, And my nanny is also the caretaker, so she saw things. She didn't like ask me anything. In front of my nanny, I said, "Where did you get the the scratches?" And he said, "The park." And I'm like, "Oh, like the wood chips. Okay, like that makes sense." And I just like moved on. I didn't like question anymore. I get grazed at him. I didn't like look him in the face like, "Oh my God," like inspecting it. And then the dots that is in question, my son always has those from like breaking out from my makeup that he gets into, the grass, the detergent, when he comes home from his father's house. Like he always has like those weirdest stuff. I didn't think anything of it of being like from hitting. Um and and then when I was thinking what the officer had asked me, he was like, "Did you put makeup on to hide the bruises and stuff?" I'm like, "What? Like I'm brown. Like I have brown foundation. Like my son likes to like play with my makeup." And I didn't think it was a big deal that it was always like causing that. And but no, I did not go out and like abuse and smack him, like horse playing around. And it happened to be on his face. And I thought
Yeah.
that's what he was referring to, because he was upset with me about it.
Okay. Let me ask you a question, ma'am. Have you done any drugs in the last 3 months?
No.
And you would pass a drug test?
100%. The day that I was in question, I go, "Dude, take my blood test. I don't do drugs." And
Do you take any prescription drugs?
yes, I am prescribed Adderall.
Anything else?
No, I'm not prescribed anything. Oh, he changed it to Adderall to Vyvanse when the Adderall shortage was happening. So the last prescription I have is Vyvanse. But you can also just confirm with my doctor that he had did that for me, because I couldn't find any pharmacies that had Adderall in their pharmacies. So then I was like, "I can't seem to find it. Can you switch my prescription to Vyvanse to hold me over till the Adderall stuff gets fixed?" And I have proof of the last visit that I went to, because the doctor's in New York, for me to go pick up my prescription.
And let me wrap up with just this. When you spanked your child, was it on a bare buttocks? In other words, he didn't have a diaper on or underwear on. His buttocks was bare, correct?
He had underwear on because he still had his school clothes on. When I said it to him, I said that I had pulled down his pants to spank him one time. Like I didn't want to go all over his pants and multiple times spank it, because he thinks it's funny and like it doesn't faze him. So it's like, I had said I wanted him to know that I was serious, and that's like the level like three that I get to. Level 1 is 1, 2, 3. Level 2 is go in timeout. Level 3 is spanking to assert my seriousness. And instead of being like for him to feel like a spank through his clothes, I had said I pulled it down, and like I said, being under duress, him taking my actual sentence of what I said, he said, "Oh, bare bottom, blah blah." And I'm like, I pulled down his pants and hit him on the butt. Like for him to say, "She said bare skin." I'm like, I spanked him like I've done every other time. And when I got to like level 3 of it, and it's been on his like skin, or it's been on his underwear. Friday, me having to relive minuscule memories is insane. And then it being held against me. Like he had school clothes on still at the time that I spanked him, and he wears underwear and pants, and I took the pants off.
Okay, and
And
just
it's
two
like having
questions.
time to like think back on the actual event.
I'm sorry, one at a time, and please slow down.
So just two questions, ma'am, and it's really sort of a short answer. So the time that you say you got to level 3 and you spanked his buttocks, approximately when was that? Like what date was that?
Oh, it was Friday. I was practicing numbers with him on Friday night.
Okay, so that'd be Friday, as in Friday, December 15th, correct? Just this last Friday, right?
Yes, because he was
And
no. He was taking me from me on Saturday, so it's the previous Friday.
okay, so Friday the 8th, December 8th, right?
Yes,
Okay,
because
and when you were,
she made the calls to everybody December 11th, which I confirmed. When no one would tell me what was going on, I confirmed that she made the phone calls December 11th at 3 something and 4 something.
okay, and when you were horse playing, you say you pushed your hand, you pushed him away with your hand, you made contact with his face. When was that?
I'm either Saturday morning or Friday night. Like we were playing around, and Sunday. Like I don't know. Like I'm just saying that event happened. For me to go back and think like what exact day, like I was in charge on Friday, Saturday morning, and Sunday. I had them all day Sunday. Those are all the things that we did on those days. I
Okay,
don't know what specifics.
Okay, but that'd be December 8th, 9th, or 10th, right? Just that same few days that we were just talking about of this month, correct?
I had them Friday night, Saturday morning, and all day Sunday.
Of
All of the
this
things I'm
month,
saying happened on those days.
of this
I don't
month,
know how
right,
to answer
ma'am?
this.
I'm just being clear. It's of this month, right? Just the last few weeks ago is what you're talking about, correct?
That is a day in question, yes.
Nothing further.
Okay.
Those are the days I'm having to relive and remember what I did.
All right. Mr. Gilbreth, anything else to add to the request for the TRO?
No, ma'am.
Based on my review of the application, the affidavit and the supporting documents and what I've heard here in the virtual courtroom this afternoon, the application for the TRO is granted. Mr. Gilbreth, do you have the date yet for the subsequent hearing?
So I'll take the court's direction on that because it's 14 days, but that would put us on January 2nd. So we would either need to have agreement to put it on the 3rd or put it on the 28th or the 29th, and then with the knowledge that it's going to be extended. I'm not sure how you're handling, those given the 14 days.
Is the
For me to-
second,
for me
aren't
to
we open
file?
the second, Ms. Seeger?
It's a
sorry?
Tuesday, that's why.
There's probably no family docket on Tuesday because if it's a holiday on Monday, usually there's no long docket that
No.
week, so it would be the 3rd.
Okay, well, that's the soonest it can be set. So you can contact Mr. Stokes about getting the setting, but the morning of January 3rd.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Lammer, the court has granted the requested relief. And Mr. Gilbreth has put together a proposed order that the court will be signing. There's going to be a subsequent hearing on the morning of January 3rd. So I understood.
Can you clarify what that means though? Because does that mean that I can't try to appeal for this CPS making this decision?
So I
don't understand.
I cannot give you legal advice, Ms. Lammer. So you indicated you were seeking legal counsel as is your right to do. And once you get a copy of the order, you can discuss that with your lawyer, and I'm sure he or she would be able to answer any questions you have about either the court's order or what to do or what is going on with the CPS or other investigations. But I can only tell you what my ruling has been and that there's going to be another hearing in this case on January 3rd. So you need
That's
to.
what when you said subsequent, you're saying
There's going to be
I can't
another
tell-
hearing on
Okay.
January 3rd to determine what's going to happen going forward. This is a temporary restraining order.
Okay.
It is limited in time. And a judge on January 3rd will be asked by Mr. Gilbreth's client to enter further orders as he outlined in the petition that's on file. So that's the relief they're asking for. This is just a hearing on the temporary restraining order. The other hearing is going to determine much, much more. So you need to be prepared for that. Anything else we need to cover?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I appreciate everyone's time in the virtual courtroom this afternoon. Sorry to meet the parties under these circumstances. I do wish you the best. And you may be excused from the virtual courtroom. Take care.
Thank you.